Welcome everyone to HardwareFX.com. My name is Jason and I am the lead reviewer for HardwareFX.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hauppauge Colossus HD video recorder. The card's already installed in my machine, but I want to go over everything that you get with it before we actually look at some gameplay footage that I recorded. First thing up is the software. This is kind of weird about this. You actually have to have the CD each time you go to install the software, so do not lose this because that's the DRM. It basically verifies that you bought this based on the fact that you have the CD. Even if you download the one off the website, you have to put the CD in to verify that you bought the card. It's kind of weird because if you lose it, well then you're just kind of screwed. Next up, you have a quick start guide. This is basically just the information you need to get started installing a card, and there's also some software tips and stuff on how to use the software, so make sure you read over that. This card also has an ability to stream on your local network or over the internet. You can stream anything that's plugged into the card, like your satellite box or your Xbox or PC or whatever you're doing, and it gives you a guide on how to set up port forwarding for that. I haven't tested this, but it seems kind of like a cool idea. It'd be kind of like almost like a sling box in a way. Now remember, this is a DVR card. You can hook up your satellite or cable box into it, and there's actually a IR blaster, which is this right here. One end gets plugged into the card, and then the other end, which is kind of weird, you have to put this little sensor over your satellite or cable box sensor that's on the front, and it has a little sticky pad on the front. Now if you rent yours, if this gets stuck on there, well then you might end up paying for the equipment. But you have to get this aligned properly. This is actually the sensor for the remote, and then of course this gets plugged into the card. This does have a remote. You can control everything from your satellite box with this remote, which is why you have to have the sensor. I've had a couple of Hauppauge products, and this is the best remote. It feels just like a real remote. It's not cheap, it's plastic, but it doesn't feel cheap. It does come with a set of batteries, which I've lost apparently. No, here they are. It does come with a set of batteries. Now the cool part about this is a pass-through card. It's not HDMI pass-through, which is kind of a bummer. I was hoping that it would be. But you get two sets of cables, and of course you get your red, your blues, and your green. Of course you have your optic audio. You get two sets of these, because what you can do is you can plug your cable box into one. This goes into the input of the card, and then you can take the output of the card, and this can go to your TV. You can do the same with your Xbox or your PS3 if you have the HD cables. Of course, you also get a set of composite cables and, of course, S-video as well. Now, like I said, the card's already in the machine, so I'm going to actually just throw up a picture right here to show you what the card looks like. All right, now we're going to switch over right now and take a look at some gameplay footage I used using the PC. I didn't use the Xbox because I didn't have an HDMI splitter cable because there is a delay. Of course, we'll get all of that here in just a moment. But here's some footage I recorded using my PC. As you can see, the card looks great. This isn't 1080p. It only does 1080i, which I'll actually throw up some specs here on the screen for you. This is a hardware encoder, not a software encoder. Now, if you're wondering what that means, if you've ever used like a screen capture program or anything like that, that is a software encoder. It uses a lot more CPU cycles. This offloads all of the rendering to the card, and it frees up your CPU cycles. Now, the one thing that I really wanted to do with this is I wanted to be able to stream my gameplay videos to twitch.tv. And I have to tell you, I had a really, really hard time really getting the card to work. The drivers that are on the disk did not work with Windows 7. The ones that are on the website did not work with Windows 7. Let me rephrase that. They worked, but they were very unstable. I would launch the software, and it would work one time. If I switched my Xbox or my PC off, then I would not get signal. I'd have to reboot the whole computer. At first, I thought something was wrong with the card, so I ended up contacting tech support. And the guy said, I know what your problem is. Here's another set of drivers. He emailed me the set of drivers. I installed them, and they worked. The software stopped crashing, and it picked up the card when I used it. I tried XSplit, and I also tried Wirecast. It did not work inside Wirecast at all. I could see the crossbar information. I could select my input, but it would not get signal at all. It was just a black screen. XSplit was a little bit better. It was still a little flaky on actually getting it to recognize anything that was plugged in. I'd have to plug it in 2 or 3 times to get the signal to actually work. Once it did work, it was okay. Streaming it, I do not recommend. I don't know why, but it looked terrible. It was not my settings, because I tried this, the same settings with another card, and it looked great. So if you're looking for something to just record your Xbox or your PS3, to your hard drive, you need a pass-through system, this card works great. Like I said, it's only 1080i at 30 frames a second. So I would suggest probably doing 720p if you're going to do any kind of uploads to YouTube or anything like that. It worked okay. But, with the problems with the drivers, the drivers were 142 revisions newer than the one that's on the website, and I have no idea why it's not on their website. The guy didn't give me an answer. I mean, he just really said, here, this is the problem, here's the drivers. So for me, if you want to take the time and go through all the drivers and everything like that, if you're not very computer savvy, I would suggest not getting this card. I've been using computers for a long time, and I had a hard time getting it to work. But if you want to take the time to do it, it records great. It's just a little flaky to actually get it to work in Windows. There's drivers issues and everything like that. So for me, I would suggest not getting this card at $150. There are other cards that are just, you plug it in, install the drivers, and it works great. So for me, this is not a buy. If you like this review, you can go to our website at HardwareFX.com. At the very top of the page, you'll see all of our social media links for YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and all of that, and RSS. And you can subscribe to there. You can get all of our reviews and news that we post on HardwareFX.com. My name is Jason, and I'll see you next time for another review here on HardwareFX.com.